All right, thank you. You're here because the jury convicted you of brutally killing your wife.
Interrupting me while I'm talking. I don't interrupt you, so why do you keep interrupting me? I know you're the judge, but
okay, hear me out. I've heard enough of this narcissistic. You're a narcissist, and I'm not going to put this family again.
You're a narcissist because you're talking and you're going all up.
Shut his microphone off, and if you keep talking, I'm going to do it without you. You'll be in there. I've heard enough from you. You killed your wife. A jury of 12 convicted you.
A white jury that did not have any black jurors on there, and that's not law. That is a setup. So you want to send me out there, I go out there, but you know what the law is, and you haven't followed it. And neither has you, and neither has you.
All right.
Everybody sat here and
hear me out. Shut up.
I'm not going to shut up.
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here.
Picture this. You're so terrified of your own husband that you strap on a bulletproof vest just to drive your children to school.
He must have been stalking her. My mom asked her, "Why are you putting that vest on?" She said, "Because, Mom, he's going to kill me. You don't understand."
24 hours later, you're dead, shot in front of those same children you were trying to protect.
She just bought a bulletproof vest 2 days ago, posted it on Facebook.
And she took a picture in it last night and said, "If this isn't a cry for help, I don't know what is." She said if anything ever happens to her, she will not rest in peace.
This is the story of Keaira Hudson, a 30-year-old mother who did everything the system told her to do and died anyway.
The victim's family says they won't stop until justice is served. They say there were numerous warning signs, including a video posted on social media appearing to show Keaira being physically abused.
The police are not doing anything. The courts are not doing anything.
Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. October 5th, 2022 started like any other morning for Keaira. She woke up at her mother's house in Cheektowaga, New York, where she'd been staying because she feared for her life. She put on that bulletproof vest, something no mother should ever have to do, loaded her 3 children into her SUV, and headed out to drop them off at school. What happened next would spark a national conversation about domestic violence, bail reform, and a justice system that repeatedly fails the very people it's supposed to protect. At 8:30 a.m., as Keaira drove down Richland Avenue near her mother's home, a vehicle slammed head-on into her SUV. Her estranged husband, 45-year-old Adam Benfield, got out of his vehicle carrying a shotgun. As a school bus pulled up alongside them, with children watching from the windows, Adam shot Keaira multiple times in the head, while her 3 children, ages 9, 4, and just 5 months old, were strapped in their car seats just inches away. The 9-year-old daughter later testified through tears that she watched her stepfather get out with what she called a long gun and shoot her mother. After the shooting, witnesses heard the children crying, and one of them said, "Daddy did it." In my opinion, this murder was completely preventable. Every red flag was there. Every warning sign was documented. Every cry for help was recorded. And still, the system failed. Let me tell you about Keaira Hudson. She was a young woman trying to break generational cycles, trying to be the mother she never had. Looking at her social media, you can see someone who'd experienced loss. She'd already buried 1 child, a little boy she called her big boy. She was raising 3 other children and had recently welcomed a baby boy in April 2022. Keaira had a complicated relationship with her family. Her posts show someone who felt she'd had to raise herself, someone determined to do better for her own children. On January 21st, 2022, she shared a post about mothers who look out for their adult children and added her own comment. "Changing my generational curse. My kid's gonna have me till the day I die, and even then, I'ma have it set up where they still gonna be good." But Keaira was also someone searching for love, posting hopeful messages about finding someone who will prioritize you, pray with you, and one whose intentions are pure. In March 2021, she changed her relationship status to engaged to Adam Benfield. By August 2021, they were married. Adam Benfield wasn't just some guy with anger issues. This man had a 22-year criminal history that reads like a blueprint for the tragedy that would follow. In March 2000, when Adam was 22 years old, he armed himself with a shotgun and kidnapped his pregnant ex-girlfriend and another woman on the Kensington Expressway. He He forced them into his vehicle at gunpoint and led police on a high-speed chase. During that chase, one of the women was so terrified that she jumped out of the moving vehicle, sustaining serious injuries because she'd rather risk death than stay with him. But it gets worse. While awaiting trial for that kidnapping, Adam escaped from the Erie County Correctional Facility by climbing over a 15-foot wall topped with razor wire. He was on the run for 19 hours before police found him at a friend's home where he had cut his wrists and was threatening to blow up the building.
The reason for all this is because I want to get some help. The doctors refused to give me any help. As you see, I slipped my wrist, and I just wanted to get some help. Nobody wanted to help me.
He served 15 years in prison and was released in 2015. His parole expired in 2017, and by 2021, he was free to marry Keaira Hudson. The question everyone's asking is, did Keaira know about Adam's past? Because if she did, why would she marry him? And if she didn't, how did a man with such an extensive violent history manage to hide it? Looking at Keaira's Facebook posts, there are hints that all wasn't well early in their relationship. On February 22nd, she was posting wedding photos and reflecting on their marriage. This really was the best day of my life. I never felt more beautiful, special, loved. I got a lifetime friend partner who loves me with every breath. He has gave me a beautiful dream wedding. I love you, Adam, forever. Reading these posts now, knowing how this story ends, you can see a woman caught between hope and reality, between the dream of what her marriage could be and the nightmare it was becoming. And what makes this even more heartbreaking is that Keaira's family didn't approve of this marriage. They tried to warn her. They could see the red flags she was missing or choosing to ignore. But like so many women in abusive relationships, Keaira believed she could handle it. She believed love could change him. She was wrong. By early 2022, the facade was crumbling. Keaira's posts became more erratic, more defensive. In March, she posted, "Period. This is what I was just telling my grandma. I have to cut ties with my mother, and that's that." She was isolating herself from her support system, which is textbook behavior for someone being controlled by an abuser. On March 3rd, she wrote, "I don't talk to none my family anyways, but two." Before that post in March, on January 20th, she posted, "I have the best man in the world." Then came a telling post on February 27th. "I swear I'm the only one out of my ex-friends and family members that will just cause send them money. Bet they never did for me though." From these posts, you can see clearly that Adam might have been working from within their home to separate her from everyone who might help her escape. This is what abuse victims do. They overcompensate, posting positive things about their abuser to convince others and themselves that everything is fine. The people who really have the best man in the world don't usually need to announce it on social media. Throughout 2022, the abuse escalated. We know from court records that there were multiple incidents, but the one that would finally be documented happened on September 28th, 2022. That evening, Adam came home to their Barber Place residence in an absolute rage. What happened next was captured on video that Keaira herself would post to Facebook the following day. This video shows Adam attacking Keaira with a level of violence that's difficult to describe while staying within platform guidelines. He punched her repeatedly, threw her to the ground, and continued the assault while she tried to protect herself. At one point in the attack, Keaira stopped moving entirely. She later said she played dead because she thought it might save her life. The next day, Keaira did something incredibly brave. She posted that 7-minute video to Facebook with this caption: "This is what this man does to me, but I'm always treated like I'm the abuser." Later that same day, she posted again, "Don't underestimate me. I am a Hudson. We were born strong, but I also know when to play weak, and it saved my life. I was smart enough to get myself out of that situation alive." When police responded to the incident of him beating her up, Adam had locked himself in the bathroom. When officers got him out, they took him to Erie County Medical Center for medical and psychological evaluation. They filed a warrant for his arrest, but initially they only charged him with harassment. Why? Because when they first arrived, Keaira hadn't told them the full extent of what happened. She hadn't mentioned the video. She was still protecting him, still minimizing the abuse, which is exactly what abuse victims do. It wasn't until October 2nd that Kiara showed police the full video. That's when they realized this wasn't just a simple domestic dispute. This was a brutal, sustained attack that had been recorded from start to finish. On October 3rd, detectives met with Kiara to review the evidence. They upgraded the charges to include assault, criminal mischief, menacing, unlawful imprisonment, and harassment. Adam turned himself in on October 4th, but here's where the system completely failed Kiara. All of those charges were classified as misdemeanors. Despite the video evidence, despite his extensive criminal history, despite the fact that he had served 15 years for kidnapping women at gunpoint, despite the fact that he had escaped from prison, none of it mattered because New York's bail reform laws tied the judge's hands. Judge James Spire had no choice but to release Adam on his own recognizance. The domestic violence advocate who was working with Kiara was present in court. She made sure the district attorney understood the threat Adam posed. She insisted that an order of protection be issued. She did everything she could within the system, but the system was broken. After Adam was released, the advocate immediately contacted Kiara to let her know he was free. They worked together to develop a safety plan. The advocate helped her find safe housing options, but Kiara chose to stay at her mother's house. This decision would cost her everything, because Adam knew exactly where her mother lived. On October 4th, the same day Adam was released from custody, Kiara posted what would be her final plea for help on Facebook. "Yo, I swear the cops ain't worth shit. This is crazy. They need a dead body before they help. I'm calling and begging them to help me. They are useless." She knew. She knew the system had failed her. She knew Adam was going to kill her, and she was begging anyone who would listen to help her. That evening, she took a photo of herself wearing a bulletproof vest and posted it to Facebook with the caption that would haunt everyone who read it. If this isn't a cry for help, I don't know what is. Her mother asked her why she was putting the vest on. Kiara's response, "Because, Mom, he's going to kill me. You don't understand." Keaira Hudson woke up at her mother's house, strapped on that bulletproof vest, and loaded her 3 children into her SUV for what should have been a routine school drop-off. Her youngest, just 5 months old, was in his car seat in the back. Her 4-year-old was secured in the middle. Her 9-year-old daughter sat in the front passenger seat. As they drove down Richland Avenue, Adam Benfield was waiting. He had been stalking her, tracking her movements, planning this moment. When he saw her SUV, he floored his vehicle and crashed head-on into hers. The impact was so violent that parts of his truck's tires flew off. A school bus had just pulled up alongside them, with children watching from the windows. Adam got out of his vehicle carrying a shotgun. Kiara's bulletproof vest couldn't protect her from what happened next. Adam approached the driver's side and shot her multiple times in the head, while her children screamed in terror just inches away. A witness, James Riggins, rushed to the scene and found Kiara with what he described as trauma to the driver's forehead. He noticed she was wearing that bulletproof vest, the same vest she had posted about just hours earlier. Another witness, April Chapman, heard the crash and gunshots. She heard children crying and one of them saying, "Daddy did it." Adam fled the scene, driving the wrong way on Route 33, nearly hitting other children in his desperate escape. Buffalo police officer Hernandez Otero pursued him but lost sight of the vehicle in the congested traffic. The children were rescued from the SUV, but the damage was done. 3 young lives forever traumatized. A 9-year-old who would later have to testify in court about watching her stepfather murder her mother. A 4-year-old and a 5-month-old baby who will grow up without the mother who died trying to protect them. For over a week, Adam Benfield remained on the run. Buffalo police issued a $7,500 reward for information leading to his capture. They warned the public that he was armed and extremely dangerous. Finally, on October 13th, he was captured near St. Luke's Hospital, riding a pink bicycle. This dangerous man who had terrorized and murdered his wife was caught riding a pink bike like he was just some regular person going about his day. Adam Benfield was charged with second-degree murder, 3 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and aggravated criminal contempt for violating the order of protection. This time, there was no bail. This time, the system couldn't fail. But it was too late. Kiara Hudson was already dead. During his 2024 trial, the horrific details were laid bare. Kiara's now 12-year-old daughter took the stand and testified through tears about watching her stepfather kill her mother. The jury heard from witnesses who saw the crash, heard the gunshots, and comforted the crying children in the aftermath. Adam Benfield was found guilty and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. But even then, he showed no remorse, no accountability for the lives he destroyed. In 2024, 2 years after Kiara's murder, her family filed a lawsuit against the town of Cheektowaga and its police department, accusing them of failing to properly charge Benfield and keep him behind bars. The lawsuit argues that the system's failures gave Benfield the opportunity to kill Kiara the next day. And they're right. Let's be crystal clear about what happened here. Kiara Hudson did everything the system told her to do. She left her abuser, she went to police. She provided video evidence. She got a restraining order. She worked with domestic violence advocates. She developed a safety plan. She even wore a bulletproof vest. And she still died because the system failed her at every single level. The police initially classified the brutal beating as harassment. The prosecutors couldn't upgrade the charges to felonies because her injuries weren't severe enough by legal standards. The judge couldn't set bail because of New York's bail reform laws. And a man with a 22-year history of violence against women was released to kill again.
This is just crazy because a lot of domestic violence been going on, especially with females, and the police are not doing anything. The courts are not doing anything.
It is extremely frustrating when you have so many steps in place and you know somebody is dangerous. You know there's a clear and present danger, yet the court has no option but to let this person back out into our community.
But frustration isn't enough. Thoughts and prayers aren't enough. We need systemic change. New York State was the last state that didn't take into account the dangerousness of a defendant to the community when considering bail. That needs to change. Domestic violence charges need to be treated with the seriousness they deserve. And judges need the discretion to keep dangerous people locked up regardless of the classification of their charges. Kiara Hudson left behind 3 children who will grow up without their mother. She left behind a family devastated by a loss that was completely preventable. She left behind a community demanding answers and change. Her sister wrote a beautiful tribute that captures who Kiara really was. You were like the glue holding all the siblings together there for each and every one of us. We all knew we could come to you for anything. I refuse to believe we failed you, for God has all the answers and the final say, and I'm sure your killer will reap what he sows. But we did fail her. Our system failed her. Our laws failed her. Our society failed her. And until we acknowledge that failure and do something about it, more women will die. More children will be traumatized. More families will be destroyed. Kiara Hudson tried to break generational cycles. She tried to be the mother she never had. She tried to build a better life for her children. Instead, she became another statistic in America's domestic violence epidemic. The least we can do is make sure her death wasn't in vain. The least we can do is fight for the changes that could have saved her life. Rest in power, Kiara Hudson. Your voice will not be silenced. Your story will not be forgotten. And your children will know that their mother was a fighter who deserved so much better than what this world gave her. I hope these stories help you recognize warning signs and encourage you to seek help or offer support before it's too late. I'll see you in the next episode of Crime of Passion. Thank you for watching.